Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is June the 23rd. I am brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.D Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation for June the 23rd. Let me share the screen with you. Here it is. Okay, June 23. Surrender. We didn't stumble into this fellowship brimming with love, honesty, open-mindedness, or willingness. When we were beaten, we became willing. Basic text, page 20. Surrender may be the necessary foundation for recovery, but sometimes we fight it. Most of us look back after some clean time and wonder why on earth we fought so hard to deny our powerlessness when surrender is what finally saved our lives. As we recover, new opportunities to surrender present themselves. We can either struggle with everyone and everything we encounter, or we can recall the benefits of our first surrender and stop fighting. Most of the pain we experience comes from fighting, not surrendering. In fact, when we surrender, the pain ends and hope takes its place. We begin to believe that all will be well, and after some time, realize that our lives are much better as a result. We feel the same way we did when we gave up the illusion that we could control our using, relieved, free, and filled with fresh hope. Just for today, is there a surrender I need to make today? I will remember my first surrender and remind myself that I don't need to fight anymore. You know, the spiritual principle of surrender is a deeply spiritual process, and it is often different for everyone. The types of surrender that come to an individual are as varying as many people there are in recovery. Everybody has a story. Everyone has something that they're holding on to for whatever reason they're holding on to it. It could be comfort. It could just be pride. There's so many things, but generally speaking, when we're holding on to something that is not beneficial for us, we have not really considered the fullness of how that thing is impacting us spiritually, right? It's even difficult to hold on to a rightful resentment, right? When someone has done something to you and you hold on to that resentment as though it had happened just yesterday. And you know those people because you'll have a conversation with them and they will start character assassinating this person or that person and telling exactly what that person did to it. Even sometimes I have found myself doing it. Can we just keep it 100? Can we just be honest? Even I have found myself sometimes recapping an old event when I'm in a conversation with someone, because I want to make sure that person understands why I don't deal with thus and so, this person, right? But really, is that necessary? And all that it does, it makes your present situation negative because the person was not expecting to receive all of that information that had nothing to do with what they were talking to you about. And then you've exposed the weaknesses of another individual that they probably don't even know that well, right? So you've done that person a injustice. You've harmed them spiritually without even being aware that character assassination is not okay. And it often happens in the wake of gossip, but it's not okay. So when we're holding on to resentments, it makes us sick. It doesn't make anyone else sick. It's poison for us, right? So sometimes you have to surrender your right to the claim, right? You have to surrender your right to be upset because it's changing how you relate to everyone else. People see you coming and they go the other way because they always know that the conversation is eventually going to turn to how bad you have it or how bad you view a certain person thus and so. And so you find yourself, people don't want to interact with you as much. They try to steer away from you because you haven't completely surrendered your right to be offended, your right to be upset, right? And so that's just one type of surrender. And it is probably, I would say, one of the most prevalent types of surrendering that we need to do, because these are feelings and emotions that can cause us to stay stuck in a rut and cause us to stay sick on the inside. Stinking thinking is what we call it, right? And so just want to encourage you today to remember that we didn't come into this fellowship brimming with love, honesty, and open-mindedness or willingness. When we were beaten, we became willing. And if we can hold on to that moment that we decided, I have been beaten bad enough, where we decided that the pain of staying the same was greater than the pain of change, and we decide to go ahead and change. I want you to hold on to that, and I want you to reflect upon that, because if you can reflect upon that, then what will happen is as different things come up, different issues come up, and you have emotional relapses, spiritual relapses, mental relapses, as they start to edge in and try to take territory on you, excuse me, you will be able to reflect on your initial surrender. When you became beaten and you said, I'm not going to use anymore, no matter what. And if you can reflect on that moment, you can reflect on the current situation that you're going through, and you can say, you know what? If I don't deal with you with authority right now, you stinking thought, you terrible resentment, right? If I don't deal with that right now, you will continue. If I give you an inch, you will take a mile, right? And so you have to be able to know yourself, right? You have to be able to understand what it is you're holding on to. What has your claw marks in it because you refuse to let it go? It wouldn't matter if it was financial gain. It wouldn't matter if it was relationships. It would not matter what it is. There has to be a level of surrender for the true peace to come. And one of the ways, I want to go back to this just because I want to make sure to reiterate, one of the ways that you can do this is through meditation. Learning how to still yourself and be quiet and analyze the type of things that come to you, acknowledging them and letting them go. It's very difficult to do two things at the same time. And so if you're trying to have peace and trying to quiet your mind, when things that come to you that are chaotic and hectic and full of bile, they are full of negative energy for you, in that place that you are meditatively, you can turn your attention towards it and say, I see you, but I also dismiss you. You will not be making me sick today. And learn how to do that. The sooner you learn how to regulate your own emotions, your own lapses or your own relapses, right? And I'm not talking about picking up the drug, because if you relapse emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, physically is right around the pike, right? So if you learn how to take a hold of this right away and deal with it and address it right away, remind yourself about how your first surrender felt. The first time you wanted to use and you said no to the dope. The power that came back into you, being able to look this evil in the face and say, not today. I'm not using today. I'm not using in this moment. If you can remember that and then use that as a weapon of warfare against the insidiousness, this cunning and baffling disease of addiction that we have, you can You can come out on the other side victorious, having won, not having to be beaten once again. That last beating that you took could be the last beating that you took, right? Because we surrender to win today. I tell people all the time, sometimes winning is just not that important. Now, if my life is at stake or someone dear to me that I'm caring for, their lives are at stake, sometimes being right comes with such a heavy price that I don't need to push the envelope with certain people. It's okay to let people go and have their own bumps and bruises, have their own surrender experience. It's okay. I cannot tell you how much freedom I feel today in regards to being able to let certain people that I've had years and years and years and years of working and networking with, familial relationships, family relationships, right? I cannot tell you how much freedom I feel today just from being able to say, that is not my fight. I do not have a dog in the fight. That is not my fight. I'm not going to continue to carry your lack of recovery on my shoulders like my life is dependent on whether or not you use or not. It's not. And I have been set free from that weight. I've been able to take my initial surrender and apply it to so many areas in my life. So many areas of my life. And really, when people encounter me, they rarely understand or know what I truly deal with on a day-to-day basis, health-wise. They have no idea how riddled with pain sometimes I actually am. You know why? Because it's not the first thing I talk about. Matter of fact, I'd be hard pressed to have a conversation with anyone. I might let a few people in because I need them to know I'm getting ready to go for this procedure or this is about to happen. You're just being responsible, trying to let a few significant family members know. But in general, I don't go around talking about what my problems are. Right. And I don't go praying to my God, trying to tell my God how big my problems are. I tell my problems how big my God is, how big my faith is, how deep my surrender was. And that's what I want for you. I want for you to do that also. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.